Welcome back, Western Slope. We now welcome on CMO, startup advisor, and author Michelle Denogean. Michelle, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we're talking about job hunting today, in the new year. What's the #1 piece of advice you have for job hunters right now?
Yeah, it might be a little counterintuitive, honestly, but I always encourage people to look up. And what I mean by that is don't just look at the job and the role and whether or not that's right for you, or if you like your direct manager, but actually look up at the leaders at the very, very top of a company, because everything, and I mean everything, the vision, priorities, the values, everything flows through them. And so make sure that you are evaluating the leaders of the company as much as that company is evaluating you.
Got it. And, I feel like we hear so much about networking and connecting with people in our industry. Why do you think that's so important? And I guess, how can people use those insights to find jobs that they're really interested in?
Yeah, I mean, your network is your biggest asset. And it's not enough to just reach out to people that you have met along the way. LinkedIn is a great mechanism for that, but make sure that you're staying in touch with people on the regular, because if you are just reaching out when you're looking, the likelihood that somebody's going to connect and help you or even think about you before you even ask is much lower. And so you want to really water that garden, so to speak, of your network on an ongoing basis and keep in touch with people, because you never know when somebody is going to be aware of an opportunity that's right for you.
Got it. And you had mentioned looking up here earlier. I guess, what can people do to research their jobs and their work situations? What else can people do, I guess, to make sure things are the right fit?
Yeah. So what I said was to look up at the leadership team, right? And it is so easy to do that now. There's so many tools. You can look on LinkedIn, and you want to make sure you're not just looking at the CEO of the company, but the entire leadership team, because it's really important that you have a balanced approach and that those people have different skill sets. So look at their profiles, see what they're saying, because so many leaders these days are posting on LinkedIn. That is a great resource. Watch some interviews of them speaking. Trust your gut. You'll get a good feel for what you think of them as a person, how they value certain things. And then, of course, there's other things that you can do. There's Glassdoor, there's the network that we talked about. Those are all the things that I always tell people to do. Don't get mired in the shiny object of the job or the company, but really take a deep dive. And so there's lots of ways to do that. I personally think the interview and kind of watching people speak or reading what they're saying is going to give you the best indication as to whether or not this is a company where your growth will matter.
Awesome. And Michelle, you're also the author of an award-winning book titled Grow Up, Take Your Startup to the Next Level. Can you tell us a little bit about it, how people can maybe even pick up a copy?
Sure. So Grow Up is all about the psychology of leadership. It is targeted to founders, but it really can be used. And I've been hearing from a lot of people that it's a great leadership book generally around what it truly takes to scale and grow. It is based on one simple truth, which is what makes you great at starting a company is not going to be the same thing that makes you great at growing it. And so it dives deep into what it takes to build, but also the leadership qualities that you have to have. I call them superpowers in the book. So it's a great resource. If anybody is interested in looking it up, you can find it on Amazon. You can look at more information about it on my website, michelledenogean.com. And of course, bookstores and Barnes & Noble, all the places.
Awesome. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you again for having me.
Of course. Western Slope, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.